My name is Alicia 27, and trust me, food poisoning was the smallest piece of my nightmare. Imagine this. I'm in my Portland apartment, doubled over sweating buckets, barely able to move after some spoiled sushi wrecked me. My stomach's churning, my vision's blurry, and I'm texting my family, mom, dad, my sister Julie, begging for help. I was desperate. But what did they do? They grabbed their suitcases, swiped my credit card, and hopped a flight from Portland to Los Angeles for a flashy Hollywood bash. Their last words as they left me behind: "Off to Hollywood, don't call." I was stranded, sick, betrayed, and that was just the beginning. If you've ever been burned by the people you trusted most, drop betrayed in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. Smash that subscribe button for more raw, real stories like this. You don't want to miss what's next. Let's dive in. The pain in my stomach hadn't let up, but by 6 a.m., I forced myself to sit up in my Portland apartment, my hands still shaky from the night before. I grabbed my phone, hoping for a text from mom, dad, or Julie, some sign they'd remembered I existed. Nothing. My head pounded, but I couldn't just lie there. Something felt off, deeper than the food poisoning. I opened my banking app more to distract myself than anything else, and that's when my heart stopped. My savings account, $15,000, every cent I'd clawed together from overtime at the marketing firm, was wiped clean. Zero balance. I refreshed the page, my fingers trembling, praying it was a glitch. It wasn't. I swiped to my credit card statements, and the screen lit up with charges I hadn't made. First-class flights from Portland to Los Angeles, $2,000. A suite at the Standard Hollywood, $3,000. VIP passes for a movie premiere, another $1,000. A rooftop dinner at an overpriced Los Angeles restaurant, $500. My breath caught, not from the sickness but from the betrayal slamming into me. They hadn't just left me to rot, they'd raided my accounts to fund their Hollywood fantasy. I gripped my phone so tight my knuckles ached, the numbers burning into my brain. $15,000, years of scraping by, gone in a weekend. I dialed mom, my voice barely steady. She picked up after 2 rings, her tone bright and carefree, like she was lounging by a pool. "Alicia, honey, you're up early. Feeling better, mom?" "My savings are gone," I said, fighting to keep my voice from breaking. $15,000. My cards maxed out, flights, hotels, some Hollywood premiere. "Did you do this, eh?" Pause, then, a chuckle light and dismissive. "Oh, sweetheart, calm down. It's probably a mix-up with the bank. These things happen." I clenched my fists, the anger surging past the nausea. "I checked the statements, mom. The charges are from your Los Angeles trip. You took my money." Her voice sharpened, like I'd crossed a line. "Alicia, we needed it for the event. You weren't exactly using it stuck in bed. We'll figure it out later, just relax." "Relax." I snapped, my control slipping. "You stole $15,000. That's my rent, my bills, my life." She sighed like I was exhausting her. "You're blowing this out of proportion. We're family. You're supposed to help us." I hung up, my hands shaking with rage. I called Julie next, knowing she'd be worse. She answered on the first ring, her voice thick with sarcasm. "What now, Alicia, calling to nag us while we're living it up, Julie? My savings are gone," I said. My tone ice cold. $15,000? You guys maxed my card for your Los Angeles trip. Did you know about this?" She laughed, sharp and cruel. "Oh, get over yourself. We didn't steal anything, we borrowed it. You act like we're criminals." "Borrowed?" I shot back. "You took my money without asking." "That's theft, Julie." Whatever she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "You're so obsessed with your little savings. We'll pay you back when we're back from Los Angeles." "Chill out." When I pressed, my voice rising. "My rent's due in a week. I've got nothing left." Her tone turned venomous. "That's your problem, little sis. Maybe stop being so selfish." She hung up. I stared at my phone, the silence in my apartment suffocating. My father hadn't picked up, hadn't texted, hadn't cared. I tried his number more out of stubbornness than hope. Voicemail as expected. I tossed the phone onto the couch, my mind spiraling. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment mistake. They'd planned it, waited until I was too weak to notice, then gutted my accounts. $15,000, my safety net, my future, funneled into their champagne-soaked Hollywood dream. And for what? So they could pose with B-list celebrities while I couldn't afford a cab to the ER. I dragged myself to my laptop, my body screaming for rest, but my anger louder. I logged into every account, double-checking the damage. My savings were drained, my credit card was maxed, and my checking account had barely enough for a few days of food. I clicked through the transactions again, each one a fresh wound. The standard Hollywood, first-class flights, VIP passes. They weren't just spending, they were flaunting it, living a life I'd never dared dream of, all on my dime. I opened my email hoping for some explanation, some glitch report from the bank. Instead, I found a confirmation for a dinner reservation in Los Angeles under my name, paid with my card. My stomach twisted, not from the poison, but from the realization they didn't just take my money. They were mocking me with it. I texted Mom again, my fingers steady, now fueled by fury. This isn't a mix-up. You stole from me. We're not done talking. No reply. I tried Julie. Nothing. My father's silence spoke louder than words. I leaned back, my head throbbing, the weight of their betrayal settling in. They thought they could drain me dry and I'd just roll over like I always had. They thought wrong. I wasn't just some ATM they could tap whenever they felt like it. They'd crossed a line and I was done playing their game. This was war, and I was ready to hit back. My stomach was still a mess, but the real pain was the betrayal burning in my chest. By noon, I was sitting on my couch in Portland, staring at my laptop, trying to piece together how my family could justify wiping out my savings. I refreshed my banking app, hoping for some miracle, but instead I found a new notification, a credit alert. My heart sank as I opened it. Someone had taken out a loan in my name, $5,000 approved yesterday. The lender's records showed my social security number, my address, my everything. I didn't authorize this. My hands shook as I scrolled through the details, the truth hitting hard. My family hadn't just drained my savings, they'd buried me in debt while they partied in Los Angeles. I called my bank, my voice tight but controlled. This loan wasn't me, I told the rep. Someone used my identity. They promised to investigate, but it'd take days, maybe weeks. I couldn't wait that long. I locked my accounts, set up fraud alerts, and changed every password I had. My phone buzzed, a text from Julie. Stop freaking out about the money. You're embarrassing yourself. My blood boiled, embarrassing myself. They'd stolen $15,000, maxed my card, and now this loan, $5,000, I'd never see. I typed back, "You used my identity for a loan." "That's fraud, Julie." No reply. I needed to clear my head, so I dragged myself to a coffee shop to meet my best friend Shannon. She was already there. Her laptop open, her eyes narrowing as I slumped into the chair across from her. "You look like hell," she said, pushing a coffee toward me. "What's going on?" I spilled everything, the missing savings, the maxed-out card, the new loan. Shannon's jaw tightened. "They're playing you, Alicia. This isn't just about money, they're trying to control you." She pulled out her phone, her fingers flying. "We need to track this. Check your credit reports, transaction logs, everything. If they're using your identity, there's a trail." She was right. We spent the next hour digging through my accounts on her laptop. Shannon found a second credit alert, another attempt to open a line of credit blocked because I'd locked my accounts. The application listed an IP address from Los Angeles. I stared at the screen, my pulse racing. "They're still in Los Angeles," I said, my voice low. "They're not done." Shannon leaned back, her expression grim. "This is bigger than you thought. You need to confront them hard. And you need proof." I nodded, my resolve hardening. But before I could plan my next move, my phone rang. It was David Holt, my boss at the marketing firm. His voice was clipped, professional but tense. "Alicia, we need you in the office. Now." There's a problem with the Thompson account. My stomach dropped. The Thompson account was my biggest project, a six-figure campaign for a national brand. I'd spent months pitching it. What kind of problem? I asked, my voice barely steady. You sent them a proposal that's completely off-brand, David said. It's a mess, wrong budget, wrong creative direction. They're threatening to pull out. Get here now. I hung up my hands, trembling. I hadn't sent any proposal. I'd been too sick to work, and the draft was still on my laptop untouched. I raced to my Portland office, my mind spinning. At the firm, David was waiting in his office, his arms crossed, a printout of the email on his desk. Explain this, he said, sliding it toward me. I scanned the email, my heart pounding. It was from my work account addressed to the Thompson team, but the content was garbage, amateurish, sloppy, with a budget inflated by $20,000 and a creative plan that made no sense. David, I didn't send this, I said, my voice firm, despite the panic. Someone accessed my account. He raised an eyebrow, skeptical. It's from your email, Alicia. You're telling me you didn't write this? I swear I didn't, I said, meeting his gaze. Check the logs. I haven't logged in since Friday. David leaned back, studying me. If you're telling the truth, we'll find out. It's looking into it. But you need to fix this with Thompson fast. I left his office, my legs shaky but my mind racing. This wasn't a mistake. Someone had deliberately sabotaged me, and I knew who. Julie. She'd worked in PR, knew her way around systems, and had been jealous of my career for years. I called her, my fingers gripping the phone. She picked up, her voice smug. What's up, little sis? Trouble at work? You hacked my email? I said, my voice like steel. You sent that fake proposal to Thompson. She laughed, sharp and mocking. Wow, paranoid much? You're falling apart, Alicia. Maybe you're not cut out for that big job. Cut the crap, Julie, I snapped. You're trying to tank my career. Why? Pause then. Her tone turned cold. You think you're better than us, don't you? Always the perfect one with your fancy job, your savings, your big plans. I just gave you a reality check. I hung up, my blood pounding in my ears. She'd admitted it, practically bragged about it. I called Mom, hoping for some shred of reason. She answered, her voice dripping with fake concern. Alicia, why are you so upset? You're making a scene. Mom, Julie sabotaged my job. I said, my voice low and furious. She sent a fake proposal from my account. I could lose everything. Oh, honey, you're overreacting, she said, brushing me off. Julie wouldn't do that. Maybe you made a mistake. You've been so stressed. I gritted my teeth, her words echoing years of gaslighting. I checked the email, Mom. It's not a mistake, it's fraud. She sighed, exasperated. You need to stop this, Alicia. We're family. You don't turn on your own. I hung up, done with her games. My father hadn't answered as usual, his silence louder than ever. I texted Shannon, my hands steady now. Julie hacked my work email. I need proof. She replied instantly, meet me tonight. We'll get it. That evening, at Shannon's place, we dug deeper. She pulled up my company's email logs on her laptop, using a contact in IT to access the metadata. The fake email had been sent from an IP in Los Angeles, time-stamped yesterday when I was stuck in bed. It's Julie, Shannon said, her voice firm. She's still in Los Angeles, screwing you over from 1,000 miles away. I leaned back, my mind clear for the first time in days. Julie thought she could ruin me and walk away. Mom thought she could guilt me into silence. They were wrong. I wasn't just fighting for my money anymore. I was fighting for my life. And with Shannon by my side, I was ready to bury them with the truth. The next morning, my Portland apartment felt too quiet, like the calm before a storm. I was still reeling from Julie's sabotage and the $5,000 loan they'd pinned on me, but I was done sitting still. I'd spent the night locking down my accounts, my resolve hardening with every click. They thought they could keep playing me, but I was ready to fight back. Then the doorbell rang and my stomach tightened. I didn't need to check the peephole to know who it was. I opened the door, and there they stood, my mother, my father, and Julie, fresh off their flight from Los Angeles, looking like they owned the place. Mom stepped forward, her coat draped dramatically over her shoulders, her face a mask of fake concern. "Alicia, we need to talk," she said, her voice syrupy like she was comforting a child. I crossed my arms, blocking the doorway. "There's nothing to talk about. You need to leave." Julie rolled her eyes, leaning against the wall, her smirk sharp as ever. "Oh, come on, Alicia. Don't be so childish. You're making this way harder than it needs to be." I shot her a look, my voice cold. "Childish. You stole $15,000, maxed my card, took out a loan in my name, and hacked my work email to tank my career. You don't get to call me anything. My mother, Ellen," I corrected myself. "Done with the mom act," gasped, clutching her chest like I'd slapped her. "How dare you speak to us like that, after everything we've done for you, everything you've done?" I snapped, my anger spilling over. "You mean draining my savings, racking up my card, and setting me up to lose my job? I've been paying your bills for years, Ellen. I covered your rent, your car payments, your shopping sprees. And this is how you repay me." Ellen's eyes narrowed, her sweet facade cracking. "You ungrateful girl. We're your family. You owe us." I laughed, a bitter sound that echoed in the hallway. "Oh, you, I've given you everything. You're the ones who owe me $15,000 plus interest." Julie stepped forward, her smirk gone, her voice venomous. "You think you're so perfect, don't you? Always acting like you're above us with your big job and your fancy life. You needed to be knocked down a peg." I met her gaze, unflinching. "You didn't knock me down, Julie. You just showed everyone who you really are." Ellen clutched her chest again, this time with a dramatic wince, stumbling slightly. "Alicia, stop this," she gasped, her voice weak. "You're stressing me out. My heart, I can't handle this." I froze for a split second, years of guilt kicking in. But then I saw Julie's smirk, the way her eyes flicked to Ellen like they'd rehearsed this. "Nice try," I said, my voice steady. "You're not fooling me with the heart attack routine. I'm done with your games." My father, who'd been silent the whole time, finally spoke, his voice low and hesitant. "Alicia, we didn't mean for it to go this far." I turned to him, my eyes narrowing. "Charles." My father had always been a shadow in these fights, letting Ellen and Julie run the show. "Didn't mean for what, Dad?" I said. My tone sharp. "To steal my money? To let Julie sabotage my job? You knew what they were doing, didn't you?" He looked away, his shoulders slumping. I knew about the money," he admitted, his voice barely audible. "Ellen said it was fine, that you'd understand. I should have stopped them." My jaw tightened, his words hitting like a punch. He knew. All those years of silence, of standing by while they bled me dry, and now this weak confession. "You should have," I said, my voice like ice. "But you didn't. And now you're all out of chances." Ellen's face twisted, her fake frailty gone. "You're going to regret this, Alicia," she hissed. "You can't just cut us off. We're your family." "You're not my family," I shot back, stepping closer to the door. "Family doesn't steal from you, lie to you, or try to ruin you. You're just people who used me, and I'm done." Julie laughed, cold and mocking. "What, you're gonna call the cops on us? Your own mother? That's low even for you." I pulled out my phone, my thumb hovering over the dial pad. "Try me," I said, my voice steady. "You've got 10 seconds to leave, or I'm calling 911 and reporting you for trespassing, theft, and fraud." Ellen's eyes widened, a flicker of fear breaking through her act. "You wouldn't dare," she whispered, her voice shaking. 10. I started, my eyes locked on hers. 9. Charles stepped back, his hands raised. "Ellen, let's go," he muttered, his voice urgent. "This isn't worth it." Julie glared at me, her jaw clenched. "You're pathetic," she spat. "You think this makes you tough? You're nothing without us." 5. I continued, my voice unwavering. 4. Ellen grabbed her purse, her face red with fury. You're just like your father, weak, selfish. She said, her words dripping with venom. You'll regret this. 2. I said, my thumb pressing the dial button. 1. They turned and left, Ellen's heels clicking angrily down the hallway, Julie's glare burning into me, Charles trailing behind like a ghost. I slammed the door, my hands shaking but my mind clear. The silence that followed was heavy, but for the first time it didn't feel suffocating. It felt like freedom. I leaned against the door, my heart still pounding. They'd come to my home thinking they could bully me back into submission, but I'd held my ground. Ellen's fake heart attack, Julie's taunts, Charles's half-hearted confession, they weren't enough to break me. Not anymore. I opened my phone, my fingers steady now, and texted Shannon. They were here. I stood up to them. I need your help to end this. Her reply came instantly. You got this. Let's take them down. I sat on my couch, the weight of the confrontation settling in. They'd crossed every line, but I wasn't the same Alicia who'd let them walk all over me. I'd locked my accounts, I had proof of Julie's sabotage, and I wasn't alone anymore. Shannon was with me, and together we'd make sure they paid for what they'd done. This wasn't just about money or my job. It was about taking back my life. And I was just getting started. The morning after the showdown at my Portland apartment, I woke up with a fire in my chest. Ellen, Charles, and Julie thought they could bully me into submission, but I was done being their pawn. I sat at my kitchen table, my laptop open, Shannon's words from last night echoing in my head. You need proof to bury them. She'd sent me the email logs, hard evidence that Julie had hacked my work account from Los Angeles, sending that fake proposal to tank my Thompson deal. I had bank statements showing the $15,000 theft and the $5,000 loan they'd pinned on me. I wasn't just going to sit on this, I was going to expose them. I opened Instagram and LinkedIn, my fingers trembling with purpose. I typed fast, laying it all bare. My family stole $15,000 from my savings to fund their Los Angeles trip while I was sick. They took out a $5,000 loan in my name. My sister Julie hacked my work email, sent a fake proposal to ruin my career. Here's the proof. I attached screenshots, bank transactions, the fraudulent loan application, the email logs, with Julie's Los Angeles IP address. I hit post, my heart pounding. This wasn't just about clearing my name, it was about showing the world who they really were. By noon, my phone was blowing up. Notifications flooded in, friends, coworkers, even strangers weighing in. My friend Tara commented, "This is unreal, Alicia. You're so strong for calling them out." A former colleague wrote, "Your family's disgusting. We've got your back." On LinkedIn, a marketing exec I'd networked with shared my post, adding, "This is why we need to protect our professional integrity." The hashtag #AliciaFightsBack started trending locally. I scrolled through the comments, my chest loosening for the first time in weeks. I wasn't alone anymore. But then, predictably, Ellen and Julie fought back. Julie posted a story on Instagram, her face tear-streaked, playing the victim. Alicia's always been selfish. She's lying about us to get attention. We've done nothing but support her. Ellen chimed in with a long post claiming I'd abandoned them in their time of need, painting me as the heartless one. Their lies stung, but I'd expected it. They'd always twisted the truth to save face. I screenshot their posts, saving them as more evidence of their manipulation. I headed to the office, my stomach tight with dread. I had to fix the Thompson mess before it cost me my job. David Holt, my boss, was waiting in the conference room, his expression unreadable. "Alicia, we need to talk about that proposal," he said, his voice clipped. "Thompson's ready to walk." "I didn't send it." "David," I said, my voice steady, "I've got proof it was sent from Los Angeles, not my account." "Someone hacked me." He leaned back, skeptical but listening. "Show me." I pulled out my laptop, ready to present the email logs, when Ryan Keller, my coworker, stepped into the room. "She's telling the truth, David," he said, his voice firm. I checked the server logs with IT. The email came from an IP in Los Angeles time-stamped when Alicia was in Portland. She couldn't have sent it. David's eyes narrowed, but he nodded. All right, get me the full report, and fix the Thompson pitch today. I exhaled relief washing over me. Thank you, Ryan, I whispered as we left the room. He grinned, clapping my shoulder. You're not going down that easy. I saw your LinkedIn post, gutsy move. The whole team's behind you. I spent the afternoon rebuilding the Thompson pitch, pouring everything into it. By evening, I'd sent a revised proposal backed by Ryan's creative input. Thompson responded within hours, agreeing to stay on. My job was safe for now. I checked my phone expecting more venom from Julie or Ellen, but instead I found a text from Charles. My father, who'd barely spoken during our confrontation, had sent a single message. Alicia, I'm sorry. I knew what they were doing and I didn't stop it. I don't expect forgiveness. Just know, I regret it. I stared at the words, my chest tight. Part of me wanted to believe him, but years of his silence screamed louder than his apology. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the text to Shannon, who called me instantly. He's trying to save face, she said, her voice sharp. Don't let him pull you back in. I won't, I said, my resolve firm, but it's proof he knew. They all did. Shannon's voice softened. Your post is blowing up. People are sharing it across Portland, even Seattle. You're not just fighting for you, you're giving others the courage to stand up too. I hung up, my mind racing. My Instagram was flooded with messages, strangers sharing their own stories of family betrayal, thanking me for speaking out. A local blogger reached out asking to interview me. A marketing group invited me to speak at their next event. My truth wasn't just saving me, it was sparking something bigger. But I knew Ellen and Julie wouldn't stop. Their posts were still up, smearing my name, trying to flip the narrative. I saved every word, every lie, building my case. That night, lying in my Portland apartment, I felt a shift. For years, I'd carried their weight. Ellen's demands, Julie's jealousy, Charles's silence. I'd paid their bills, fixed their messes, let them drain me dry. But now, I was free. Not because they'd changed, but because I had. I wasn't their victim anymore. I was Alicia Ramsey, and I'd just taken the first step toward reclaiming my life. They wanted a war. They'd get one, and I was playing to win. 3 months had passed since I stood up to Ellen, Charles, and Julie at my Portland apartment, and my life had changed in ways I never imagined. I was no longer trapped in their chaos. I was building something new, something mine. The Instagram and LinkedIn posts exposing their betrayal didn't just clear my name, they lit a spark. Messages flooded in from strangers, friends, and colleagues sharing their own battles with toxic families and financial manipulation. It hit me hard. My fight was bigger than me. It was for everyone who'd been used, guilt-tripped, or torn down by the people they trusted most. That realization drove me to act. With Shannon by my side, I launched a marketing campaign called Break Free, aimed at empowering people to escape toxic relationships. We teamed up with a Portland nonprofit, creating workshops, social media challenges, and a website where survivors could share their stories. My firm backed the project, and David Holt, my boss, gave me the lead. The Thompson account, which I'd saved with Ryan's help, became our first sponsor, donating $10,000 to the cause. I poured everything into it, turning my pain into purpose. The Break Free campaign spread fast, with people across Portland and beyond sharing it. I got emails from Seattle, Chicago, even Los Angeles, thanking me for giving them a voice. One message stopped me cold. A woman named Sarah wrote, "Your story gave me the strength to walk away from my family. I'm finally free." Work wasn't just about paying bills anymore. It was about thriving. After saving the Thompson deal, I earned a promotion, senior marketing strategist, with a raise that let me rebuild my savings. Ryan became my right-hand man, his creative ideas pushing our projects further. But the real victory was personal. I started therapy, something I'd dodged for years, thinking it'd make me weak. Instead, it gave me clarity. I learned to set boundaries to stop carrying Ellen and Julie's baggage. For the first time, I was living for myself, not their demands. One evening, as I packed for a work trip to New York, a letter slipped through my mailbox. No email, no text, just a handwritten note from Charles. My father's shaky handwriting filled the page. Alicia, I've let Ellen and Julie control things for too long. I failed you and I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better, but I don't expect forgiveness. I just need you to know I see it now. Take care. I read it twice, my chest tight, but not with anger. It was something quieter, closure maybe, or the ache of what might have been. I didn't write back. I wasn't ready to open that door, but I didn't hate him either. For now, that was enough. Ellen and Julie stayed silent. Their attempts to smear me online had fizzled, overshadowed by the Break Free campaign's momentum. A cousin mentioned they'd moved back to Los Angeles, still chasing their Hollywood fantasies, but I didn't care. They were out of my life, and I was done bankrolling their chaos. My focus was forward. The New York trip was for a marketing conference, a chance to pitch Break Free to national brands. Shannon was coming along, her journalism skills sharpening our message. We were a team, and for the first time, I had people who lifted me up instead of dragging me down. At the Portland airport, I stood at the gate, my bag over my shoulder. The terminal hummed with travelers, but I felt steady, grounded. A year ago, I'd been stuck paying Ellen's bills, dodging Julie's jealousy, begging for Charles's attention. Now I was free. Not because they'd changed, but because I had. I checked my phone, scrolling through the Break Free website. Hundreds of new stories had been posted, people breaking free from toxic families, partners, even their own fears. I smiled, my heart full. This was my win, not just over them, but for everyone who'd ever felt trapped. As I boarded the plane, a text from Linda Pierce, our HR rep, popped up. Proud of you, Alicia. Break Free is inspiring us all. Crush it in New York. I typed a quick reply, then tucked my phone away. The flight attendant greeted me, her smile warm. Business or pleasure, she asked. Business, I said, then grinned. But it feels like liberation. I settled into my seat, the plane's hum calming my nerves. New York was just the beginning. I wasn't just Alicia Ramsey, the girl who survived her family's betrayal. I was Alicia Ramsey, the woman who turned pain into power, who chose herself and built something bigger. And I was just getting started. Before I wrap this up, let me leave you with this. You don't have to stay in a relationship that breaks you. Family, friends, anyone, if they're draining your soul, you have the right to walk away. Choose yourself. Build your own path. It's not selfish, it's survival. And sometimes it's the start of something extraordinary. So tell me, have you ever had to break free from someone you thought would always be there? What's your story? Share it below, because you're not alone. And if this resonated, hit subscribe. We got more stories to tell, and I can't wait to share them with you.